Hello everyone, welcome back to my video. My name is Margareth Stevany Sinurat. I'm college student from Mathematics Education Study Program 2019 at State University of Medan. In this video, I will explain about chapter 10 is Hindu Mathematics Development. The first history of Hindu mathematics. Hindu mathematics or India began with the emergence of a civilization located in the Indus River basin in the 26th century BC and end in the 14th century BC. Indian mathematics developed after China's mathematics and before the emergence of medieval European mathematics. Indian mathematics, this civilization is commonly called the Indus Valley civilization. The cities they lived in at that time were arranged geometrically. Around the 15th century BC, the Indians were explored by the Aryans who came from Central Asia. For about 1,000 years, the Aryans perfected Hindu writing and Sanskrit. Then was born Vedanta mathematics, which developed in India since the Iron Age. Around the 9th century BC, a mathematician named Satapatha Brahmin began to discover the value approximation, and then between the 8th and 5th centuries BC, the Sulba Sutras gave geometrical writings using rational number, prime numbers, the rule of 3 and cubic roots, calculates the square roots of 2 part of 100,000, provides methods of constructing circles whose area approximates a given square, solve linear and quadratic equations, develops Pythagoras triple algebraically, and provides statements and numerical proofs for the Pythagoras theorem. In the year 550, the Indus discovered the number 0 and wrote the layout system for numbers. Indian mathematicians have long discovered the number 0, but there is no symbol for it. Then Aryabhata called the number 0 with the word ka. Aryabhata has included 0 in the calculation system, not just an empty space. The Encyclopedia Britannica says Hindu literature proves that the number 0 may have been known before the birth of Christ, but no record is found with such a symbol ahead of the 9th century. The brilliant ideas of Indian mathematicians were further studied by Muslim and Arab mathematicians. Al-Khwarizmi was the first to introduce the use of 0 as a base value in base 10. The system is known as the decimal number system. The second, Hindu mathematician. There are Panini, 5th century BC. It was Panini who formulated the grammatical rules of Sanskrit. The notation he used is the same as modern mathematical notation and used the rules of meta, transformation, and recursion. The second, Surya Siddhanta. At 400 BC, Surya Siddhanta introduced the trigonometric function of sine, cosine, and inverse of sine, and laid down the rules that determine the true motion of celestial bodies, which correspond to their actual positions in the sky. The third, Aryabhata at 499th century. Aryabhata is an Indian mathematician and astronomer. When he was only 23 years old, he had success in making a great work, namely a book which gave the title Aryabhata. Due to its popularity, it was translated into Arabic in 8th century BC and then into Latin in the 13th century BC. Aryabhata also states the relationship of the circumference of a circle to its diameter. The fourth, Brahma Gupta. Brahma Gupta was a great Indian mathematician. His famous work is Brahma Siddhanta, which consists of proposition and rules. Besides that, there are also Brahma Gupta theorems that are exact, namely by using Archimedes' Heron's formulas to determine the radius of the outer circle of a triangle. One example is when Brahma Gupta made a formula equivalent to the trigonometric formula we use today, namely 2r equal a over sin a equal b over sin b equal c over sin c, which is a reformulation of Ptolemy's work. Perhaps the most interesting result of Brahma Gupta is to generalize from Byron's formula to determine the area of a rectangle, namely k is root of SA multiply SB multiply SC multiply SD. And Madhava is considered one of the greatest mathematicians and astronomers of the Middle Age and has made contributions to infinite series, calculus, trigonometry, geometry, and algebra. In the 14th century, Madhava of Sangamagrama discovered Leibniz's formula for P and used 21 terms to calculate the following value 3.1415 etc. The third, Hindu number system. Indian numbering is based on base 10. There are several kinds of number in India, namely Brahmi Numbers, Gupta Numbers, and Nagari Numbers. And the first, Brahmi Numbers. Most of the positional numeral systems that use 10 as the base used throughout the world are of Indian origin. The digit 1 through 9 in the Hindu-Arabic numeral system evolved from the Brahmi numerals. The Brahmi numerals are found on inscriptions in caves and templates in the areas near Pune, Bombay, and Uttar Pradesh. Different inscriptions, different forms of symbols. Brahmi numerals have been in use longer until the 4th century BC. Here is one style of Brahmi numerals. Next, there is Gupta Numbers. The Gupta period was the period during which the Gupta dynasty ruled all the way to Magadha in northeastern India in the early 4th century BC to the late 6th century BC. The Gupta numerals were constructed from the Brahmi numerals and were widely spread by the Gupta Empire. The Gupta number then develops into the Nagari number, sometimes also called the Devahagari number. This is the form of the Gupta number. Next, the third, Nagari number. Nagari number are often mentioned by Al-Biruni as most numbers because many were sent to the Arab world. Nagari numbers are often called Devanagari numbers. Indian numerals spread to parts of the world between the 7th and 16th centuries BC and have spread to Europe at the end of the 5th century BC. Here is the form of Nagari numbers. And the first subtopic is invention related to Hindu mathematics. The first, the Sulba Sutra. The oldest records of Indian mathematicians contain appendage to religious texts that give simple rules for building altars of various shapes, such as squares, rectangles, and others. This appendage also provides a method for creating a circle by giving it a square that has the same area and contains as an initial verbal explanation of the Pythagorean theorem. The second, the Siddhanta Surya, notes that introduced the trigonometric function of sine, cosine, and inverse sine and laid down the rules for determining the actual motion of the positions of celestial bodies. The third, Beskali manuscript. The Beskali manuscript is a manual of rules and illustrated examples and their solutions, mainly about arithmetic and algebra, as well as some geometry and measurements. The manuscript is estimated to have been compiled around 400 M. The fourth, Velu Aryabhata, worked on an approximation to and may have come to the conclusion that is irrational. And the fifth, research trigonometry. Trigonometry by Aryabhata in the book Ganitapada 6, Aryabhata suggests the area of a triangle, which means for a triangle, the result that is perpendicular to the half sides is the area. And the sixth, research algebra. Algebra by Aryabhata. And next, geometry, the basis and inspiration of the entirety of Indian mathematics is geometry. Geometry originating from India can be known through a record of the geometric construction of the Vedic priest called the Sulba Sutra. The Sulba Sutra is a guide for the construction of these altars for worship and explain the history of Indian geometry. Hindu geometry is primarily for practical purpose. The first geometry regarding the erection of Hindu religious altars. The establishment of the altar is related to the Pythagoras theorem. I think that's all from me that I can explain on the topic of Hindu development. Please forgive me if I had mistake in my explanation in this video. I hope I will be better in the next chapter. If you have criticism or suggestion, you can write them in the comment column. Hopefully this explanation video is useful for you. Don't forget to share this video with your friends on social media too. And turn on the notification bell to get the latest on the topic learning of history mathematics. Thank you all and good day.